Hello everyone, welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully you're having a great day. If you've been watching Larry's Anything Goes programming, you know that we are not only providing great financial intelligence content as much as possible by interviewing other financial professionals, professionals in the travel industry, real estate industry, etc. and so forth, but we provide various services when it comes to specific products that we sell, from anything that you would actually find on Amazon or actually at Walmart, etc. and so forth. And we are actually providing specific products due to today's current crisis and whatnot to ensure that we provide the right services and products that you need at a reasonable price when it comes to medical face masks, when it comes to hand sanitizer, and when it comes to latex gloves and things of that nature, and etc. and so forth, toilet paper, paper towels. But we have what you need. Also, family, don't forget that Larry's Anything Goes is a part of an affiliate marketing network known as Gold Standard Partners, where you have the opportunity to buy cryptocurrency and allow others to invest with you as becoming an affiliate marketing partner. And obviously, if they purchase a package with the program, you're able to make money off their package purchases and make money off of their crypto purchases and things of that nature. If you want to join, please follow the links in the description, and I'll give you a call as soon as you sign up and purchase a package, and we'll go from there. But definitely, it's all about the best way to make money moves is to have currency with one another and to ensure that currency is always being spoken of on all levels, so it benefits everyone and not just one specific person. That's a lot of things that people forget about. So think about joining the program and we'll be able to go from there. But if not, either way, it's always appreciated. And thank you for watching, and hopefully you guys have a great day and continuously make money moves so you don't live broke like a fool. Take care. As you can see, with our various products, we have our financial apparel, as you see, wearing There's Anything Goes t-shirt, financial intelligence is sexy, face masks, latex gloves, things of that nature, to obviously ensure the safety of you and your family all at the same time. We want to ensure that you get the best products and see the actual products that we're actually providing for you, and giving you another view of not only the shirts and the medical masks, but actually another view of actual latex gloves and the actual hand sanitizer. Because one thing we've learned throughout this unfortunate crisis is that we have to take more precautionary measures to ensure not only the safety for ourselves, but for our families. And having a great pair of hand sanitizers, latex gloves, and medical face masks will ensure that safety. And with all that being said, hopefully you guys will check out our online store. We have the various products that you see here. With a couple of clicks, especially if you're paying via PayPal, it makes life that much easier for you to purchase our various products, especially during this unfortunate situation. You see the apparel from Larry's Anything Goes. We have the medical products when it comes to hand sanitizer, latex gloves, medical face masks, things of that nature, and various other products. So please check out Larry's Anything Goes. Support small local businesses. We greatly appreciate it, and hopefully that you have a good day. How goes the family? How goes it? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys are having a great and exceptional Saturday. It's another beautiful day to be alive. So let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. So today's subject matter, I will be talking about how to make money moves with a job because a lot of times I talk about different investing vehicles, investment vehicles, ways that people could possibly other businesses people can get into, but you know as I woke up this morning, I said to myself, you have to be realistic. Not everybody's going to own a business. We all know this. Every economy in the world is not any economy in the world would not work from a westernized standpoint looking at it if everybody was a boss and whatnot. But everybody can make boss moves, especially in the United States. I can't speak for other countries, but in the United States of America, people can make boss moves. That's why, America is one of the greatest countries in the world because it's a place, not a perfect country, but a great country because it's a place where you don't even have to vote. You don't even have to speak the language in order for you to prosper economically, especially in today's country. I can't speak for 30, 50 years ago, but definitely in today's country, it has become very normal for you could speak a various amounts of language, or you could don't even speak the English language because there's a certain community and whatnot and economic mindset in that community, whether you come from Central South America, the Caribbean, Africa, Asia, Middle East, wherever you may come from. Doesn't matter either where you come from, but wherever you may come from, if you have the right mindset and if the community of people that you're associated with has the right mindset from an economic standpoint, you can make a lot of boss moves. There's a reason why people who cut grass and people who are janitors and people who are cashiers and people who are house workers and people who are truck drivers and Uber drivers, DoorDash drivers. I do a little DoorDash on the side myself. There's people that work in the quote unquote traditional jobs that make a lot of boss power moves. People who are construction workers, electricians, plumbers, blue collar, white collar, it doesn't matter. They make a lot of boss moves because they just follow the simple principles of being able to do two crazy special things. Now let's call it three crazy special things. They live below their means. So they might not even have a car. I was going to the gym yesterday and I saw a young lady left an apartment complex and she was walking to work. She had an apron on, so I could tell she worked at a restaurant. I've seen people that just ride their bikes and whatnot to work and whatnot. I like to call third world / European because even in Europe, a lot of people, not going to talk about third world, but in a lot of European countries, people don't own cars and whatnot because they don't need to. They have if you're in a place like London or Paris, they have a New York mindset where, hey, I got the best transportation in the world, so why do I need to own a car and whatnot? That's an unnecessary expense and whatnot. And you even imagine in today's world, if you don't have to worry about gas, taxes on a car, insurance on a car, maintenance on a car, you know, um, that cuts out a lot of money from your budget, you know. And if you're walking to work every day, then hey, you're not worrying about paying for public transportation. So these are just things to keep in mind. All right. But anyways, I digress. But the point of the matter is the beautiful thing about having a job, you don't have to be put into the just over broke category. Once you, as an adult, figure out a way to be able to pay your bills, um, put yourself in a position where you can put money away, put yourself in a position where when you're making investments in a 401k, individual retirement account known as IRA, 529 plan, health savings plan, um, self-directed IRA plans, whole life insurance policy plans. When you figure out these different ways, to just put money, be able to save money and invest money, obviously invest in the stock market, invest in crypto, invest in bonds. There's so many different vehicles to invest your money in, possibly, real estate. There's so many ways that people you can make boss moves, but a lot of times, it's to me, it's not talked about enough. Excuse me. I come from the DMV area. Okay, the hub of the federal government, the hub of the military. Thank you everybody who has served and whatnot. Thank you for the federal federal employees, federal contractors and whatnot. A lot of them make the U.S. economy go around, and the military as well, whether you believe it or not. So just you do your numbers. I don't even have to get into the specifics of how. It's just what it is. All right, because in a capitalistic country, which makes America a great country, um, no political puns intended. I don't do politics. Um, money and boss moves are made on a regular basis. That's why I actually get very annoyed people want to mention politics, but they don't want to talk about the economics. Because I always say, and the beautiful thing about the United States of America, with it being free enterprise and it being a capitalistic country, the economics is this big and the politics is this big. Regardless of who's sitting in the White House, governor's house, mayor's house, it is what it is. Regardless of who's sitting in Congress, the economics are going to be the economics because math is going to be the math. It is what it is. Okay. But anyways, so let's talk about people who join the military. Now, a lot of times people join the military because they are in a bad situation. They have the best benefits in the world, and those are earned benefits. They weren't just given. Other reasons is because people just want to serve their country, and and then of course you get the extra benefits on the side. So it's even better. You have people who are in the military for a couple of years. You have people who are in there for 20 years. Sometimes you have people who are lifers. People who become generals, and they in a sense they just retire because they've aged out of the process and things of that nature. But anyways, become an admiral or some sort of a commander, joint chiefs. There's so many different aspects of things. But anyways, I'm not really, like I said, I want like, much respect to the people who are in service and were in service. I was in service, and I obviously as a National Guardsman, and I am a child of two Army individuals. My mother and father, they actually met each other in Germany in the United States Army, so it's a beautiful thing. But and usually when people think about the military benefits, they're thinking about, the good stuff, especially to somebody who's 18 and 19, 20 years old. They're thinking about, um, being able to pay for your education, regardless of what kind of education you want to get, whether it's skilled trades, whether it's college, whatever have you, certifications. They're thinking about housing. Obviously if you're in service, you're able to get access to the commissary and a lot of other benefits. Veterans Affairs, known as the VA benefits, where you be able to buy your first home with no cash down, but you still have to pay no money down, but you still have to pay closing costs and things of that nature. So these things work out, and especially if you marry somebody that's within service. I know a lot of people who in the service and utilize the VA loan to make themselves millionaires via real estate because they kept house hacking a bunch of houses, especially when they were stationed in various different parts of the country, and they end up owning up to 8 to 10 houses by the time that they retire from the military. And then a lot of times they take that equity out of those properties, buy apartment buildings, buy a commercial building, or commercial real estate, or be able to put themselves in a position where they buy into a franchise. Remember a friend of mine, when she was on a trip in South Africa. She met a family who franchises McDonald's, and they had 4 McDonald's, and the way they was able to um, build up enough money to even put to buy into the franchise of McDonald's is because they utilized the money from the equity of their homes that they had by purchasing via the VA loans and whatnot, making power moves. And the beautiful thing is their kids joined the service and their kids joined in on it, so their kids bought houses via utilizing the VA loan, and they were able to buy up to 15 homes, and then they own, as a family they own up to 4 different McDonald's or whatnot throughout the state of Georgia and Alabama. So, like I said, and at the end, and before I go forward, even getting into the additional benefits of the military, as I was having a heated discussion with a person the other day, remember in America, everything's a corporation, and your family is supposed to be, regardless of what situation economically your family is in. Because you have too many people who are family members, but they're dead weight and they don't pull their fair share. They just think they just need to look cute and go to school, and that's it. And I call, nonsense on that, just to be decent about it. I call nonsense on that because I like to call it like back in the days of before there was running water and electricity and whatnot. Families is supposed to be a unit, so everybody in the family's got to pitch in. Before there was standardized education, before there was even any governments or any corporations, you had to pull your weight in the family. You couldn't just be dead weight. You just couldn't sit on the side and try to look cute and whatnot and just be like the only thing about your family is your name and nothing else, no other substance to it and whatnot. Okay. Everything needs to operate like a corporation and an investment in the United States of America, period. All right. So, anyways, so let's get into the military benefits. I've already talked about the home benefits, educational benefits, being able to go to school. I know, especially during my generation, get people getting out of high school between the year of 2000, 2000 and 2010 or whatnot. It was just normal for people. The main reason why they joined the military was to pay for school, and to get the other benefits was, that's why people were reservists. They went a National Guard, and hey, you get great training, you get the discipline, and you get to travel. You get tax free room and board allowances. options for full or part-time services. It's just a lot of, a lot of great things, and obviously the great skill sets and things of that nature. But another thing that I don't think is talked about enough, and a friend of mine even hit me to this game because he's utilizing this special benefit, because he shout out to Kendrick. He was in the Marine Corps, and this is the bill that's nobody. I mean, this is the benefit that isn't talked about enough, in my personal opinion, because it's always usually housing, it's always usually college and tuition, and all that good stuff, tuition assistance, but they never talk about this one. And being able to get good health insurance, being able to utilize the VA. A lot of veterans have the mixed feelings about being able to utilize the VA hospital, because it's not as convenient as using a private option. But in my mindset, if you're able to have options outside of one, the more options, the better. And it's a lot of times people end up working in a certain job capacity where they don't have health insurance, so they need their VA benefits. You know what I mean? So I just look at it like that. But anyways, the one thing that's not talked about enough is the veterans benefits. All right. Now, I've already talked about, now a lot of times, especially if you qualify for money from the VA on a monthly basis, whether you get 10% disability, 20% or more, it's a beautiful thing to be able to get that money. A lot of people, hopefully they're utilizing it in certain situations, they survive. And obviously if you get 100% VA disability, then you don't have to pay personal property taxes on your home. So that's a win-win situation all together at the same time. So that's another way to make a boss move from an economic standpoint. That's less money going out to that, but hopefully you're not spending that money on nonsense to try to make yourself look good. Because a lot of times, unfortunately, people do that, and it's just like, okay, you're making other people's economy better, but you're not making your own economy better. So that's why I said, because I despise when people talk to me about how much money they're getting. I said, okay, are you making some investments? Are we talking some boss moves? And one guy told me, well, I'm investing in myself. I said, okay, what does that mean? And he gave me a blank stare. I said, that mean you're just gonna buy other crap and make other people rich? And he basically gave me a look like, yeah, that's how it's gonna go. I said, okay, cool. Well, that ain't a boss move to me, but whatever makes yourself happy, it's your money. But anyways, the small business loans, that that is one thing that to me is not talked about enough, about veterans benefits, and it's an earned benefit at the same time. But the small business loans from the small business administrations, veterans take preference. It's a beautiful thing, and I think it should be a real big reason why, another reason amongst the other reasons that you have for people to want to join the military and whatnot. Because if you want to, especially for the youngins nowadays, a lot of them want to be entrepreneurs but lack the capital. But if you think about joining the military and get more information that's needed for you to to join the specific military service, then maybe you would want to say, okay, well, I'm going to go in, be the best soldier, sailor, marine, airman I can be, and or Coast Guard person I can be, and go from there. Get a good skill set while I'm in there, but go to school for business, and utilize any other services that are online to be, better entrepreneurial programs that are online, because most universities don't really teach you how to be a business owner. They teach you how to be a manager. That's what most business degrees fall in line nowadays, but I'll leave that alone. But anyways, certain schools have certain special programs, but most of the standardized educational institutions, it's just teaching you how to be a manager, not to own a business. I unfortunately took business classes, and I was being taught by people who owned a store, and were I mean, I'm not owned, but managed a retail store, and a person who was just a manager on government contracts. I'm like, okay, so none of y'all ever own a business, yeah. So it was somewhat of a waste of time for me, because I'm like, I don't want to be a manager. I want to be a business owner. I'll leave that alone. But anyways, so small business loans, being able to get access to that kind of capital and whatnot, like my friend is doing now, which is an earned benefit. This is a beautiful thing, because what if you want to buy into a franchise, whether it's a McDonald's, whether it's a hotel, especially the franchises, or maybe even a restaurant franchise. You just never know. Being able to put yourself in that category of being a veteran-owned business, or maybe you want to be a government contractor. Hey, whether it's for the state, county, city, or the federal government and whatnot, you being looked at as a veteran-owned business, or a veteran slash minority-owned business and whatnot, gives you access to capital, and gives you access to put you in line for other specific contracts with those specific government entities and things of that nature. So to look into. Even other corporations might want to utilize your services for you being either minority owned company or a veteran owned company and things of that nature. You can play both sides of the field. It's a beautiful thing. It's the economic way. It's the American way. Okay, so that is one reason, one way to make boss moves with the military. All right. And then obviously there's way other things, but you know me, I like to keep it on the economic side of the house. Plus, you have opportunity to serve your country. So it's a beautiful thing all at the same time. You get those earned benefits. You know, it's going to be easy. No, but anything worth having in life is not going to be easy. So I just leave it at that. Okay. Um, and that's just not because I don't see that it's not talked about enough. And I think even in I'm not saying I'm a spokesman for the military because I'm not, but I could see in the future because being considered a boss and an entrepreneur is like the mindset of a lot of children that are coming out, kids that are coming out of high school, and going to college or even joining the military. I think this would be a great selling point for the armed forces to say, hey, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you can get access to capital if you join the military. But add on to these other layers and whatnot. Not just talking about college, and because the whole mindset of going to college nowadays is much more jaded compared to when I was coming out of high school. Because a lot of these kids are like, look, I don't. They know that unless you're trying to really be like a doctor, a lawyer, scientist, or an engineer, there's not that many, or a teacher, which most people don't want to be teachers. You can just look online and just go from there, because there's all these teachers that are making content about why they stopped teaching. So don't take it from me, take it from the people that worked in the industry. Um, but it's like the idea of going to college. If you're not falling in that specific lane, most people don't want to go to college anymore because it's like if I'm not really trying to do that with my life or be any sort of medical professional from a nurse, because nowadays it's like gone are the days when people are just going to school to get degrees and nonsense and whatnot. We live in the information age. So if you want to learn about history and philosophy, it's called YouTube University. It's called Audible books and whatnot, or it's just called hardcore books. So unless you just really want to be a teacher, but outside of that, if you're in biology or things of that nature, it's a different story. But if you're not going to college to get a specific job, as far as your major being for something really specific, what is really the point? Okay, because when you come out as an adult, you want to be able to make a decent living. Not everybody's going to be rich, we know that, but you want to be able to make a decent living. So that's why I always say that's why a lot of these corporations got rid because it wasn't the universities were not producing the kind of people that they needed to help them develop products for them for us the customers to utilize. So it just became utterly it's becoming a lot of degrees, not all, are becoming utterly worthless. It's just becoming pieces of paper. It's all about the skill sets. All right. And we know that. And another great way to make boss moves is by just getting into the IT services on all levels, from cybersecurity to whatever have you, to obviously working skilled trades, plumbing, electricians, um, truck drivers, mechanics. Things always need to get fixed eventually. So that's at the end of the day, that these are the things that matter. Understanding contracts, that's another thing that's very important. It's like, but these are just different ways to make boss moves and whatnot. You have so many people making boss moves in the entertainment industry. They, because of the internet, they are able to have their own community online. They're able to have their host their own shows, whether it's online or in person. They're selling tickets to online events and in-person events and whatnot, from comedians to actors to actresses to music entertainers. There's various different, and then of course all the jobs that are available in the entertainment industry, especially in the podcasting space. So there's so many ways for people to make boss moves. But the main reason why I'm even talking about this, not even just about the money, but it's about the benefits that you can get all at the same time. All right, there's various other corporations out here that will offer you more, not only just a great package as far as benefits and a great salary, but a lot of times they'll give you a sign-on bonus. They'll give you tuition reimbursement programs, or just pay for a specific um, certifications and whatnot, so that you become a better employee for them. Obviously, most times they're going to make you stay with them for a certain time frame, or you have to earn the money back. I mean, pay the money back to them. But these are great things. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you want to be able to do more than just be a basic employee. Like I said, gone are the days of our parents and grandparents and great grandparents where you could just be a regular employee, work a job for 30 years, 20, 30 years, and be set for the rest of your life. We know those days are gone, and for the most part, not coming back. I can't predict the future, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. All right. Now, let me check something here, family. Make sure that we're still good to go. If you're watching, do the great three free things: like, share, and subscribe. It's always greatly appreciated. Now, another part of the ways that people can make boss moves is be thinking about becoming a merchant marine. I actually was thinking about this with one of my nephews, but he shrugged at the idea. I'm just like, all right, you just want to work at a warehouse for the rest of your life. That's your business. Excuse me. But the Marines, it's a great profession. And the beautiful thing about it is you get a chance to be in the military, but you're not in the military, and you don't. So therefore, of course, somebody wants to call me while I'm going live. Tell you I've been getting a series of. Let me know if you guys been getting a lot of freaking spam calls lately, man. Because I tell you, like the last week, I've been blocking some serious numbers. But anyways, career in the merchant marines is a unique blend variety encompassed in a single domain. By opting for the merchant marines career, individuals can combine a lot of different areas and gain a lot of exposure to terms of professionalism, adaptability, and travel. And the beautiful thing is you get to travel a lot, via a ship. You get a lot of skill sets that you can, just like the military, you can utilize when you're not in the merchant marines. Obviously, choose your skill set wisely. And then another thing is you get to learn about the world as a whole, and you could possibly get, because becoming, I myself am not, but I know that becoming more of a global citizen in today's world is going to be more and more lucrative for Americans on any level. All right. A lot of our corporations, the darn near most of American and European or westernized corporations, are global citizens. And when I say global citizens, I'm not saying that they're anti American or anti UK or anti Germany. But what I am saying is it's normal for them to have relationships and own businesses in other foreign countries and even own real estate in other foreign countries. All right. So for the next generation of younger people, I think it's going to be normal for them to have more friends that live in other countries. It's going to be normal for somebody who lives in Michigan to have a lot of friends, not just somebody who and just a regular American, not a person who immigrated to the United States, just a person that lives in Michigan, Ohio, Virginia, South Carolina, whatever, to have friends who live in Nigeria, South Africa, who lives in Mexico, who lives in Singapore, who lives in Japan, China, whatever have you. It's going to be normal. It's going to be more and more normal, than it ever was before, because and it's not just because of the internet. It's just because you have a lot more Westerners that want to travel to other countries, quote unquote third world countries, because they want to get other different experiences and things of that nature. And I remember even seeing a lot of videos of people who are in the merchant marines, basically recording their lifestyle and things of that nature, because you can actually, especially when you're first getting out of high school, it's a career that you can make starting off making a lot of money. Especially you're able to save a lot of money because you're living most of your life on a ship, so you're not really living have a place that you have to really maintain back in the United States. A lot of times people they actually keep all their certain things in storage, and then when they get back to the US, they'll just have like a long-term Airbnb or a long-term hotel stay when they get back to the United States, because because like I always say, the biggest sacrifice working people can make, especially coming out of high school and college nowadays, is not rushing to have kids, not rushing to get married, but rushing to get your money right. That's not talked about enough. See, that was my mindset getting out of high school, because I already seen people older than me popping out babies like popcorn. I'm not knocking you if you did. I'm just saying I saw what was going on and what wasn't for me. I saw people not being able to be putting them, they moved out of the parents' house very early because that was the trend. And they a lot of times they weren't able to get their money right. Certain instances they were, a lot of instances they weren't. My mindset was to be able to build up enough savings so I could be good in case an emergency happened. Make sure I was scared of credit. I didn't even start getting investing in the credit cards until I was like 25, 26, because I was actually scared of credit. But I wish I would have utilized credit earlier. If I would have, obviously having the information I have now, if I would have had that back in my early 20s, my lifestyle would be different, way different. Trust me on that one. So that's why I love creating content and putting this information out, because I want younger people to not have to go through, one, the hurdles that I went through, but two, I want younger people to be able to make boss moves at an earlier age instead of in their early to mid 30s. But the salary can range from $1,500 to $3,000 per month. And um, remember that when you're in other countries, you're taxed different. When you're making money abroad, you're taxed different. So a lot of times you don't have to worry about any local state taxes at all, because you're in another foreign country. So you save a lot more money. And then because you're not, if you're not renting a place back in the States, if you don't own a place back in the States, then you're saving a lot more money, because you're not having to worry about paying rent and utilities. That's another thing to take into consideration, because you're living your life on a ship and you're living your life in other quarters and whatnot abroad. So it's another thing to take into consideration. It says, note that notwithstanding the training period for approximately a year, so the training period is a year, and wherein a stipend is paid out ranging from $500 to $800. whatnot. But I believe you're living on the quarters of wherever your training is taking place and whatnot. And the thing is, at the end of the day, um, you're able to, and even if you wanted to get out of the merchant marines and maybe just want to say you want to settle in Jacksonville, Florida, or whatnot, or another coastal city where there's a lot of importing and exporting going on, you can utilize the skills that you got as becoming a merchant marine on those ports. Now, obviously, I know there's politics involved in regards to not who's in office, but who you know. So then that puts you in a position of you're able to network with people, and they're probably like, "Hey, Sam is a great worker. So the merchant marines, he wants to work for this our corporation. Hey, we've seen what he's done. We've seen his resume. We've seen the skill sets he has. He'll be a great contribution to our organization. So that's just something to think about, because the thing is, and here's the 10 aspects of being the great reasons why you want to become a merchant marine: lucrative pay package, tax benefits, destinations galore, confluence of cultures, enhances professionalism, extensive exposure, and like I was talking about earlier, networking, inspiring adventure, demanding slash less demand qualifications, and that's another thing. Regulated lifestyle, extended vacations, and that's another thing. You get to see the world without even really spending that much money, or in certain instances, without really even spending a dime. So now, is it hard work? Absolutely, but I think and I think especially more young people, if you have a chance to travel abroad, you get to learn other languages, you get to learn about other cultures and whatnot. It just makes you become a much more well-rounded individual at the end of the day, and that's why a lot of times when immigrants, go to Canada, United States of America, Europe, and Australia, they thrive in a very big way because they are exposed to two different cultures, so they have to switch from two different mindsets all at the same time. And the people that were in the military, another great example, they have a much more broader perspective. They've been all over the world, so and they've been exposed to so many different things, and it just makes them better people and more disciplined and more vigilant all at the same time. So it's just something to think about, in my personal opinion. So especially to the young guys that are just getting out of, because I'm like I said, I was talking to this young guy. He works at my grocery store that I go to, and he's about to become an electrician. And he told me, he's like, yeah, he's like, when I was in high school, everybody was pushing college down my throat, and he's just like, I don't want to go to college. He's like, I'm not an academic. He's like, I don't want to type up papers about things I don't care about. He's like, I don't want to be a doctor, lawyer, or engineer, or an IT person. He's like, I'm a blue collar worker at the end of the day. That's what I like to do. And I was like, I respect that. He used to work for a garbage company when he first got out of high school, made good money, worked like a slave, but he made good money. Um, and then he got a job as an assistant manager working at Safeway. He worked his way up through the ranks, and now he wants to become an electrician. So he said maybe even down the line he might even get a CDL just so he can get a fleet of trucks with him and his buddies and whatnot, and maybe they might get their own trucking business. So this is the mindset, of a lot of people nowadays. They're not just buying what the school system's telling them, especially given the fact that a good chunk of the school system is just not happy, because they have their issues, and I've gone into that. I might make a video about how this, and maybe even interview some people. I need to get back in interviewing. I've been lazy and lazy, but lackadaisical on that aspect. But just being able to, you have to look outside the box, because it's like I said, if I was given the information about investing when I was a teenager, if I was given the information about the benefits of owning real estate when I was a teenager, if I was given the benefits of, the benefits, if I was given the information in regards to how the U.S. economy truly works when I was, like if I would have had YouTube as in high school, man, don't even get me started. But anyways, if I would have had that lifestyle, I think I would have left the DMV area sooner. One, but two, my mindset would have been like similar to what it is now, not 100% because I've had life experience, but it would be similar to what it is now, back into my late teens and early 20s and whatnot. And the focus would have been hard on not just manual labor, but the focus would have been on getting access to information and whatnot, access to more capital and whatnot, house hacking. I probably would have tried to own up to, by the time I was 30, up to 6 houses by just house hacking, or at least 4 houses by house hacking, if I would have had the right mindset back then. But it's all about perspective. It's all about how you do things, and how and the people that you're around. That's why the older I get, the less I want to have wasted time conversations, because I had so many, especially when it comes to what the media is talking about when it comes to sports and when it comes to politics. I had enough of those conversations in my 20s, and they didn't really end up to a hill of beans. And I don't like wasting my time talking about things that don't go ka-ching in my freaking pocket. You know what I mean? They don't make my life go ka-ching, ka-ching when it comes to increasing the value of me being a person. Because the problem in today's world, everybody wants to be like the news pundits and whatnot, but 90% of the people who argue online or in person about politics, sports, and celebrity culture are not getting paid the same salaries as the news pundits are talking about those. So it's great for them, to people on CNN and Fox News and MSNBC, to have long heated debates and yell at each other like they want to kill each other. But remember, these people get paid way more than most working Americans, which is, I'm not mad at that. Two, they live in very nice exclusive communities. I'm not mad at that. And three, they go to the very nice same freaking um what country clubs and whatnot. I'm not mad at that. It is what it is. So they put on a great show to keep people entertained, whether it's on the left or the right, and because they know it's going to keep people watching and whatnot. So it is what it is. I'm not, like I said, I've if I worked for a news network, then I would love to get into heated debates and get paid millions of dollars to do so. But I don't work for a news network, and I never want to. So I leave it at that. That's why I said, as an adult, I've wasted enough time doing that. I'm good. All right. So last but definitely not least, where's my agua at? There she blows. Now let's get into corporate America, because there's a lot of great jobs in corporate America, whether people believe it or not. A lot of people call certain jobs in corporate America the corporate plantation, but it's all, to me, it's all about, not everything is as black and white as we would like it to be, and there's a lot of gray in life, regardless of whether you work for a big corporation, a small company, mom and pop operation. You have your own company. You work for a government institution. You're in the military, merchant marines, whatever have you. There's always these differences in life that one has to take into consideration. All right. But at the end of the day, family, I will say with all sincerity that um, some of the best corporations to work for, and to get some of the best bang for your buck, because we do live in a time frame of the great resignation, where basically employers have just, in big droves, have been either better benefits, work life balance, or just people that just want to. Because that's another thing. People think that the great resignation is just all about people quitting their jobs and starting their own business. We all know that's unrealistic. I mean, I wish that could be realistic, but that's just a very unrealistic thing. The reality is, the great resignation really is a part of people wanting to have work for better employees and have a better work life balance. Because, like I said, we all know, in reality, not everybody's going to be able to be and not going to be a business owner. But every employee has an opportunity to make boss moves. I've already talked about the career fields where people make boss moves from the quote unquote lower paying aspect of things. But people who are doctors, lawyers, engineers, banking professionals, project managers from various different industries, they make boss moves within their job and outside of their job all the time, because they utilize the benefits, they utilize the skill sets, and they utilize the amount of money that they're making every year, especially the ones that live way below their means. Because a lot of more people they understand that becoming the millionaire next door, which is a great book that you should read, by the way, by becoming the millionaire next door, you open the opportunity for you to be able to look like you only make $15,000 a year, but you make 130,000 plus. But your money's being saved and invested on a regular basis, which puts you in the category of becoming a millionaire within 5 to 10 years. A lot of times people don't understand that, because who you spend your money with, who you bank with, holds way more power than who you vote for. I'm always going to say that to the day I die. I leave it at that. Whatever your politics are, it is what it is. I really don't care. But some of the best companies out here. Number one is NVIDIA. NVIDIA is a work in challenging and meaningful compassion, and benefits are great. And the person says, "I love my coworkers." Hot number two, hot spot, HubSpot. Company works remarkably hard to create an inclusive community. Every single person is able to bring their best whole to themselves or whatnot. A lot of other expert realties on the list. Box is an amazing culture, smart colleagues who care about results and balance. Because that's another thing. It's like people look at Veterans Home United, um, Google is considered a great place to work, especially, remember, because most tech companies now have because of the pandemic, has created an environment, not only the Google-like mindset where you have the nap pods and the free food and places where you can stay on campus and whatnot, but now they've created a culture where you can work from home. So it's you have a lot of the like a Boise, Idaho, and all over Florida and Texas and whatnot. You have if you don't have the campuses of these tech companies, people are just allowed to work from home, meaning that you can live from anywhere. So you'll have a lot more people that the work-life balance. Some people want to live in a rural area. So a lot of corporations like, hey, if you got the skill set as long as you got access to the internet, we don't care where you live at. As long as the job gets done between these specific times, you're available between these specific times. And that's the beautiful thing about another great thing about the United States of America. You have more and more remote work jobs, and people are loving that. Okay, people are loving that because my mindset is if you're going to pay to live somewhere, I think this is the thing that really I've always had this mindset, but I think this mindset has quadrupled since the pandemic took place. If you're going to live someplace, you should really love living there, not because of the politics, but because of the atmosphere of the area, meaning the geography of the area, what is it, the mindset of the people, and just the atmosphere of the people. That's just my thing. I like the West Coast and the Southwest because I'm a laid back type of dude, friendly kind of guy. Even though I'm an introvert, I like laid back, cool people and whatnot. I'm not with the uptightness like an area like a New York or Washington D.C. DMV area brings. Northern Virginia, Maryland. Nothing against anybody there, but my personality doesn't jive well too much because it's a very uptight atmosphere. But people who work for Royal Caribbean Group, NASA, Jet Propulsion Laboratory, known as JPL, Johns Hopkins University, Applied Physical Sciences, 5 9, Adobe, Delta Airlines, Autodesk, LinkedIn, Mountain America Credit Union. Credit unions are great places for people to work and whatnot. I don't care which one. The majority of the time, they have a lot of great benefits, and because they're financed by certain entities within the government and whatnot, they have great benefits. So great organizations: Pentagon Federal, Southwest Airlines, Microsoft, Trader Joe's, Capital Group, Booz Allen Hamilton, Block, even In-N-Out Burger managers make 6-figure salaries. A lot of people don't realize that. Red Hat, Snap, Appfolio, Silicon Valley Bank, all that great stuff. So, these are just things to take into consideration. You know what I mean, family? Hold on a second, family. My dog needs to use the restroom. So, of course, it needs to go right now. But yeah, it's just like working in corporate America. I don't think it's a bad thing, and it's just something to take into consideration. All right, I'll be right back. Also All right, sorry about that, family. You know, you got to take care of certain business even when you go live. So definitely my apologies on that one. But yeah, at the end of the day, I want to see everybody succeed, and everybody's path is going to be different. Um, you know, in this life, and that's cool. Um, and everybody's got a different path in life. But I think America is a game of chess, not checkers. Unfortunately, the school systems um, teaches us to just play checkers and not chess. And I want us to be able to do better than that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I want us to be able to do better than that, and we can. But the first thing, it starts with family. And hey, I'm not perfect. I know when it comes to family members, they can be some of the biggest pain in the butts on the planet. Whether it's extended family members and your immediate family members, they can be the biggest pain in the butts and the biggest drags sometimes. And I know, I know in a lot of instances that people are not taught to. I think immigrants are the mindset in third world countries is the America. The families have to operate like a corporation for survival purposes, and when they bring that over to the United States, they're able to flourish more so because when you have 5 to 10 paychecks contributing to a household instead of 1 to 2, money moves can be made in a very, very big way. Okay, that's one thing to be taken into consideration. Um, and then when you're able to have life insurance policies, whether it's short term, whole life, whether you have, and then you have a multitude of people putting money in a bucket so people can buy into a franchise, open a business, buy a bunch of freaking real estate homes and whatnot, buy a fleet of cars. I mean, these things matter. Like your circle matters at the end of the day. Your family matters at the end of the day, not just outside of the regular stuff. Because, like I said, people been raising families since the beginning of time, before there was running water and electricity. So, loving your family is the most normal thing you can do. Being a great parent is the most normal thing you can do. But for a lot of us Americans, we don't understand that being thinking outside of that box can help us flourish in so many different ways, and it's not even funny. Okay, it really isn't. And I want us to be able to do that more so that we can utilize something and remember that everything is a business transaction. You work for somebody, you work for somebody, you join the military, you go to college. It's a business transaction. There's nothing really. It's not supposed to be friendly. It's not supposed to be harmony. Now, if it is, then great. But everything's a business transaction. Every single aspect of our lives, whether you like it or not, whether you're online, whether you live in a house, rent it, own it, have a car. Even if you don't have a car payment or whatnot, a business transaction is going to happen with that car. It's that crazy thing called gas and maintenance. It's that crazy thing called insurance. It's that crazy thing called, in certain areas, personal property taxes. So everywhere there's a business transaction taking place in this life. All right. Unless you're just a person, even a homeless person eventually has to beg and get some money so they can get something to eat. I'm just saying. Okay. I'm just saying. But even a homeless person has to get money eventually, somehow, some way. They can't eat out of a garbage can forever. They have to find a way. Okay. Heck, I've seen homeless people with, and I'm not making fun of homeless people, but I've seen homeless people with cell phones. So I know that great example. This one lady, in the morning when I'd go to the gym or go to work and whatnot, she's smoking a cigarette and drinking a cup of coffee and whatnot, right there on the corner that she's begging for money on. So there was some sort of, unless she stole it, there was a transaction made somewhere. There's always a transaction happening on one way or the other. And that's why that saying that I love to say, always keep currency in your circle, is a big freaking deal, because everything is currency, but sometimes it's good currency, sometimes it's bad currency. And a lot of times people don't want to work to have that good currency around them and whatnot, because some people like negativity because that's all they know. Some people have trauma issues. Like I said, I'm not a therapist. I'm not going to act like I know it all, but I do know that there's so many ways to make money moves with the job outside of just working your job and having the hours. I mean, working your job and paying your bills and whatnot and exchanging your time for money. There's so many different ways, by getting the skill sets, by building the relationships, by taking advantage of any benefits that might be there from training to, maybe you get a certain percentage off on the products that you purchase and things of that nature, from that organization, the services that you utilize from that organization. There's so many ways to make money moves, having a job. But it always starts, as my brother Ronald Samuel says, with your mindset. Then, around who are you hanging out with? And that's why I would say, I notice the older I get, the less I want to be around people, because once I find out that people, whether it's men or women, are on some nonsense, I'm like, okay, well, you got to go. You don't have any place in my life, and you don't want me in your life, because I'm going to bore you to death, because I don't want to talk about basic stuff. So that's just what it is. Like, because we can't have a currency conversation, not where we're exchanging money, but we're exchanging ideas, we're exchanging knowledge. All right, we're helping each other up, we're working as a team and a unit and whatnot. All right, economics is a team sport. Okay, I'm not a sports fan, but economics is a team sport. I know I got the LA Dodger hat on, but I'm just a Los Angeles fan. But economics is a team sport, just like being a great family is a team sport. But are you pulling your weight, or people who you might have the same name and whatnot, but what are they contributing? And when I say making a reasonable contribution, I'm not talking about money. You know, the aspect of currency can be, what are you doing? All right, are you helping clean the house? Are you helping cut the lawn? Are you um, if you see your significant other has a business, are you making a contribution? Are you helping design a logo? Maybe you have a friend or friends or another family member that's doing the same thing, that's done the same thing? They can put them in contact with their distributor. It's like just the simple friendly gestures. Maybe a specific bank that you can get a business loan from, and you can tell your family member or friend, hey, this is where I was able to get access to capital from. Maybe you should check it out. Tell them to do their own research, though, because I have a pet peeve about giving people advice, but I always say, do your homework. Don't ask me all the information. I'm giving you the lead, but you got to move forward. I can give you some information. I'm not going to give it to you all, because what might have worked for me might not work for you. And that's just what it is. But that's how I always end those discussions off. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I put this into perspective. It's like we got at the end of the day, and we got to be able to work towards something outside of just going on vacation and having fun and going to the bars and posting selfies online. There's got to be more to life than that. That, because unfortunately today, in my personal opinion, it's sad that a lot of people, that's all their lives have resorted to, what they're putting on social media, and that's it. And 9 times out of 10, the stuff that they're putting out there on social media is pretty basic and pretty boring. I can't really put it any other way. It's pretty basic. It's pretty boring, and they're not even spending enough time with people that are helping them up themselves in value, and they have so much to offer and give and whatnot, but they aren't in a position to even help bring up other people, uplift other people, and bring value to other people's lives. A goal of mine with this content is to be able to bring value to people's lives, and to uplift people and be positive and be a light in a cloud of darkness, especially in the social media world, because that's just, people just like to be basic. I'm basic. People just like to be negative, and I know the negative videos, they get the most views, and I know um being a conspiracy theorist person. I'm not knocking you if you are, but I'm not a conspiracy guy. I'm a facts and figures guy. So I'm just like, hey, if this is going to happen based on these specific reasons, then okay, great, I get that. But the whole conspiracy theory, I'm just like, not really my thing. I'll listen to it because I actually do like listening to other people's opinions because I know I don't know everything. But I know being able to get different perspectives is a wonderful thing. But I really like to dig into the math and the facts and the figures and the economics because 90% of the time people can't argue the actual facts and figures and whatnot. Most of the times, 1 plus 1 equals 2. So it's like this is just nothing I need to argue with anybody because I'm not into the arguing online thing. That's another thing as adults and especially grown men we should not be doing. If we're going to have debates, let's have debates over things that's going to make our pockets go ka-ching and I make our phones ring. You know what I mean? I'm just going to keep it. That could be a T-shirt idea right there. Let's argue over things that make our pockets go ka-ching and make our phones ring. Meaning that we have customers calling, meaning that we're networking with people, meaning that we have sincere things happening in our lives and not just things that make videos go viral on social media and whatnot. It's like meaningful adult conversations, actionable items. It's like constant, like a great example, if you're always meeting online and whatnot but you don't have any actionable items to take place, then you might as well just be in an office setting having a meeting talking about the same subject matter for years on years and years and years on end. To me, that just becomes boring, that becomes old, and it's just something that we need to think outside of the box on, family. All right. So on that note, I'm going to call it a day. About to go to a comedy show. I just fulfilled some orders, so thank you for those who actually purchase products from my store. It's always greatly appreciated. Heard my Cash App go off a couple times. Thank you for the people who make the Cash App contributions to the channel. Always reinvested back into the business. People who contribute to my PayPal, Venmo, always greatly appreciated and whatnot. And as I always say, just do the great three free things: like, share, subscribe. Don't even gotta share. Just like and subscribe. I'm a simple man with a simple plan. All right. So on that note, family, hopefully you guys have a great, great, great day. Saturday, like I said, August is basically over with, but we're still gonna keep on pushing. Let me know how you guys' weekend is going. Let me know what you think of the video, and maybe put some more suggestions of any great companies to work for, institutions to work for, either today or maybe in the future and whatnot. It's going to help people advance outside of just paying bills and raising a family. It's good in life when you've mastered how to become a good employee, and it becomes even better when you master how to become a passive income earner and getting skill sets all at the same time. There's so much out here to do. You can do it. You keep a good positive spirit to you, and you can make these money moves so you don't live broke like a fool. You can leave legacies for your family, via insurance policies, via various different investment vehicles, retirement vehicles, businesses. There's so many things that's happening in the world right now, especially in America. Are you going to take advantage of it? Things might look dim now, but trust me, there's always a plan at play. And the thing is, are you going to play checkers? Or are you going to play chess? You know what I mean when I say that from an economic standpoint, family. Play checkers, not chess. If you're a stock market investor, crypto investor, don't forget to check out WEBULL, Stash, Acorns, Crypto.com, all those great investment vehicles, Coinbase, and when you sign up with all those links are in the description, including my online store. They're in the description. You will be able to make some money moves. So, hey, go from there. On that note, family, I'm out. Take care.
Mike, now.